Missoula's annual MLK Day Community Celebration. We are thrilled to have you all here and celebrate the life and legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with you here in person and online. The Missoula MLK Day Community Celebration Committee acknowledges that we are occupying indigenous lands. The Missoula and Bitterroot Valleys are homeland of the Salish, Kootenai, and Kalispel tribes, as well as the Blackfeet and the Blackfoot Confederacy. We honor all original stewards of this land and their descendants, many of whom continue to live, work, teach, eat, and thrive in this community in face of decades of colonization and displacement. We are committed to showing gratitude of the land, for the land, and its indigenous people through respect of our thoughts and our actions. If you'd like to be involved more or learn more, please refer to your program. There are beautiful programs that each of you should probably have already in your hand. If you'd like to learn more, please visit and review our program. And this event here today was organized to honor the life and legacy of Dr. King and will feature the following plus more. The Black National Anthem, the MLK Day History Brief. We'll have our keynote speakers, Akila Dearnose and Lizzie Mills-Lowe. And also our presentation of awards for our Youth Art and Essay Contest. And immediately following this program, we will gather for the community dinner and social. I would like to thank St. Anthony's Parish for hosting us, and I would like to introduce to the stage Father Pascal to share some of the opening remarks. Thank you.
My name is Father Pascal Kasanziki. I have been here for 4 years. And this is my first time, to celebrate with you the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. We are glad and honored to welcome you in this holy ground, to celebrate a man of God, a holy man. Martin Luther King Jr. is a prophet of justice, of peace, and love. Some time ago in Chicago, a friend of mine told me that Martin Luther King Jr. is only for the black people. I said, really? Then I went to attend the celebration of Martin Luther King in Chicago. And I met so many Caucasians like you. Professors, doctors. I said, well, Martin Luther King Jr. is a prophet for all, black and white. He's a great story in this land. And that great story was achieved not only by black people, but also those men and women of God, Caucasians, somehow, they participated in celebrating freedom. Ben Jealous is the former NAWCCP. Ben Jealous had just published a book entitled I want to let you know that our people were always free. Freedom is a gift from God. And whenever it's not respected, you have to conquer it. No one will give you freedom for justice, peace, and love. Thank you so much.
All right, so I realized that I did not introduce myself. Hi again, my name is Jayton Simpson. I will be your MC for tonight. I now have the opportunity to introduce Elijah Jalil Paz Fisher. He is not with us here in person right now, but he did record us a video that we're going to share. Elijah Jalil is a multidisciplinary social justice artist and a creative extremist. He graduated from the University of Montana School of Theater and Dance with an MFA in acting. Elijah is extremely grateful to Witness and Listen, Mama, Empower Montana, and the larger community of Missoula for supporting his artistry during his time here in Montana. He looks forward to returning periodically to produce shows for and with this community. Elijah is currently expanding his artistic career back home in Northern California, throughout the Bay Area, utilizing the intersections of poetry, music, dance, and acting. Although he is unable to attend this event this year, he is honored to be sharing with us a few songs, just like he has done in years past. You can find updates on his website, elijah-jpf.art. Support his journey through Patreon and stream his music on all streaming platforms under Elijah Jalil. So we'll go ahead and cue that video now of the Black National Anthem. so if you have not done so yet with your phones or any other devices that may make noise, please turn those off or turn them to silent. Silent, please. And now I have the opportunity to welcome to the stage Martin Charlotte. Martin Charlotte was born in St. Ignatius and lived in Arley, where he was homeschooled until the 5th grade. He graduated from Arley High School and went on to attend the University of Washington, where he majored in poli-sci and served on the Associated Students of the University of Washington Board of Directors. Martin moved home to care for his father, continuing his formal education at the Salish Kootenai College. Martin was elected to the Pablo District Council representative for the Confederate Salish and Kootenai tribes in 2019 and started his term in 2020. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Martin Charlotte.
Esquex Pessia, actually, Pescharu, just said good morning. Much Pessia, Martin Charlotte, Luis West. I just said in Salish, kind of butchered a little bit. Thank you everyone, good evening. My name is Martin Charlotte. Like he said, I represent the Pablo District. My ties to this area run very deep. Our ancestors inhabited this land that we sit on now for generations. We say time immemorial, which means since the beginning of time. And we were always, as the Bitterroot Salish, we're always happy to welcome newcomers and happy to include them and bring them into our tribes. And we were always stewards of this land, and we are since moved the reservation north of here, starting in Everett, running to the Flathead Lake, and so we feel a strong connection with this land. Even speaking on the Salish here is something that I really feel like keeps our stewardship of this area and kind of renews that connection that we have. You know, my dad is kind of a product of the history of this. He was actually going to come here. He just turned 85 on January 8th, and so he was actually going to come because he and Murray are old friends, and he really wanted to make it, but he's like 2.5 hours, that's too long. So he couldn't be here, but I want to speak a little bit about him. He was born to a Salish father. Comes from a lineage of chiefs through the Salish history, and both of his parents were fluent speakers, and he was not taught that language. He was basically kind of the idea was to become kind of the government process of assimilation. And he went to school just down the block here in Loyola, and even that name Loyola, brings back some of the connections to the boarding school and the historical trauma that we faced as people. And as he grew up and got into different sports, and he was the student body president, I believe, or maybe class president. He probably inflates those a little bit. As you get older, you become better and more popular, and you get so much more. Pretty soon, I'll stop there. He's really, he went down that route. He was actually going to become a priest and went to study seminary for a few years, and decided that wasn't for him. He graduated from university with a degree in literature and became a poet, and he went down to Utah and was teaching there or doing something there, and then Dr. King was assassinated. And that was one of the things that impacted his life and changed kind of who he became. He left there, he joined the Poor People's Campaign, was in DC, was one of the people that they supported all these different movements in the late 60s and early 70s. And that's, how I became, I think part of it was just ingrained in me, being politically active. My grandma, on my mom's side, actually lived behind Hellgate High School, and so she was really active politically, and she was part of the Women Democrats in Missoula. She really was active politically in Missoula. This church, I came here as a kid with some other friends here, and so this full circle that we make here, I hope that we can, going forward, just support each other. I mean, we all have similar histories, we all share this area, we feel like we can help each other, and that's what we've always done. And right now, a couple hundred years of oppression and assimilation isn't enough, where we have people attacking our sovereignty again. I hope that we can all be that same people that are accepting and supportive and rally behind us, because we're really coming up for a fight. And this is something where this quote that I think we're going to talk about later, I just been dwelling on it, and kind of it's the true peace isn't merely the absence of tension, it's the presence of justice. And I feel like there's not a lot of tension anymore. I feel like we are, as a people, doing pretty well, but there is definitely a lack of justice that is rising up in this area, in this country, that we need to curb and support each other and unite. And that's something that we're doing collectively. And I've always been a big advocate of standing with other people and helping the people that are less fortunate than you, and taking them in and feeding them and housing them and making them part of your people. And I feel that that's something that we definitely do well, and continue to do that. And not to toot our own horn, but we've been fairly successful doing that. And I think kindness pays off. And so I hope that you guys all enjoy the program tonight. And welcome to this area. Welcome to our homeland. It continues to be our homeland. And I just thank you guys. Lem Shkesiya. Thank you everyone for allowing me to be here.
So now at this time, I get to introduce Mr. Murray Pierce. Where is brother man Murray Pierce at? Please, Murray Pierce, make your way to the stage so that we can have a brief on the MLK Day history. And I'll let him tell you the more part, everybody. Murray Pierce.
First time we've gathered in a while for MLK. It's nice to see so many people come out to help us support the vision of Dr. King. Martin, thank you so much for those words. I truly appreciate that. You've grown into an incredible young man. I'm very proud. I've known your dad, as you said, for many years. Vic Charlotte is a national monument, you guys. He's incredible. And Martin, I used to elbow the heck out of you when we played basketball, but please forgive me for all of that stuff. Thank you. 15 years ago, after his assassination on April 4th, 1968, Congress passed a bill recognizing the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday. In Montana, the MLK holiday was not recognized until 9 years later, in 1992. This was due in great part to the efforts of University of Montana professor of history and state legislator Harry Fritz, who carried a bill in 1991 which supported the commemoration of the holiday. The bill faced an uphill battle in the state legislature. Articles in the LA Times and Chicago Tribune shine light on Montana as one of 3 states at the time which had not adopted the King holiday. There were several alternative proposals offered by an ad hoc legislative committee. One bill would establish an annual King Day on the 3rd Monday of January and eliminate a floating Heritage Day, which was celebrated in different ways in various parts of the state. Several legislators opposed the bill on the grounds that King associated with a great many communists. In an attempt to placate those in favor of recognition, the bill was introduced to create a King holiday honoring Nez Perce Native American Chief Joseph instead of King. To the surprise of several of the anti-King proponents, Montana's 3 American Indian legislators hotly rejected this plan. Democratic State Representative Angela Russell, Crow Indian, who was with King on his Alabama march from Selma to Montgomery in '65, when she was 21 years old, said the detractors were engaging in what she termed diversionary tactics, and stated Montana's embrace of Martin Luther King Jr. Day would send a message to the nation that we will not tolerate racism. King was the power behind the whole civil rights movement in this country, she said. A holiday in his name would be a wonderful symbol and focus for the whole civil rights issue in Montana. Caught between choosing to honor the civil rights leader or a famous Indian, American Indian legislators offered a counter-proposal. We choose both, were the words of Democratic Senator Bill Yellowtail, who represented the Crow and Northern Cheyenne reservations. An Indian-sponsored amendment would rename the proposed Chief Joseph holiday as Native American Day, replacing Columbus Day. Yellowtail said Columbus was, quote, among other things, a scoundrel and a pillager, and Columbus Day has always been a sore point with Native Americans. One of the proponents of the Chief Joseph Day, Senator Jerry Noble, stated he would not take a stand on the amendments in a committee hearing, stating, apparently the Native Americans have a problem with Columbus. King holiday supporters held church services, public rallies, school programs, petition campaigns, and marches throughout the state, and testified en masse at a joint House-Senate legislative hearing in January. After much deliberation, Representative Fritz's bill passed in Montana, formally first recognized the MLK holiday in 1992. Nonetheless, although not formally recognized, celebrations in Montana continue. In Missoula in 1991, incoming president of UM, George Dennison, ordered a committee formed to celebrate the King legacy. That committee was chaired by Ray Carlisle. He's right here tonight. He was the former director of UM's Trio Student Services. The inaugural event included UM Black Student Union, Black Studies Program Director Ulysses Doss, and several Black Student Union members. In 1994, UM converted to a semester system, which eventually meant students were on break and didn't return to after the holiday. The campus MLK committee continued to plan activities to honor Martin Luther King, but these celebrations occurred in the first weeks of the spring semester. During this period, several of the community members who served on the university committee saw the need to celebrate MLK Day on the actual day of the holiday. With this consideration in mind, the Missoula Community Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Committee was formed. The first community celebration was held at the First United Methodist Church. Key among those original members were Betty Wing, Ralph Stone, Jason Schilke, George Price, and shortly afterwards, Ray Carlisle, folks from Jeanette Peace Center, Jonathan Dunbar, as well as yours truly. Committee members have come and gone over the years, but their dedication to the principles of social justice, inclusion, diversity, and equity remains steadfast. Today, we still exist as a grassroots entity and continue to interface with the UM-MLK Holiday Committee, which has returned to commemorate King's legacy while students are in school. We would like to especially state we are equally proud and thankful for the annual efforts of folks at Empower Montana and Walla Walla College for their participation. Finally, there are a number of Missoulians who comprise our current committee. This year's planning committee consists of, I call your name, stand up please. Sammy and Kim, I think Sammy's in town. Ivy Anderson, Jason Forges, John Lunn, Lonnie Nielsen Cattell, Paul Renault, Dexter Royce, Regine Seabrook, Toto Miller-Shearer, Jayton Simpson, and Heidi Wallace. You guys please stand. That's my water too. Thanks. Appreciate that. I get the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker tonight, who's sitting close to the front row here. Aquila Deernose was born in the state of California and spent the first half of her childhood before moving to Tacoma, Washington. Growing up in a single-parent household at the intersection of poverty and race, with a disabled brother and a learning disabled sister, also suffering from mental illness, who was funneled out of mainstream school and into the criminal justice system. Akilah saw firsthand many barriers to access, equity, and justice faced by a large portion of the population. These experiences shaped her view of the world and grew with her dedication to ensuring meaningful access to opportunity, justice, and equal rights and the law for all. She received her undergraduate degree in politics from Missoula University. In 2009, she graduated from St. Clair University School of Law, where she was honored with the Outstanding Graduate Award while in law school. Akilah served on the student board and the Black Law Student Association and the ACLU. She also interned at the San Jose Public Defender's Office and the Juvenile Justice Division and on a felony trial calendar in Sacramento. Additionally, she interned at the Mental Health Advocate Project of the Silicon Valley Law Foundation. Prior to joining ACLU in Montana, she worked as a staff attorney with the Montana Legal Services Association, providing legal support and assistance to survivors of domestic violence. She is passionate about building inclusive communities centered on awareness and social justice. In her free time, she has very little of. Akilah enjoys dancing, floating in rivers, and hiking the alpine lakes with her 2 children. When not with her children, you can find her trail running, racing, half and full marathons, and learning more about Black history, especially related to her Gullah heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, Akilah Cruz.
First, I'd like to thank Empower Montana and the Missoula MLK Day Celebration Committee for inviting me here today to honor Dr. King. On a preliminary note, I have a very quiet voice, so if you can't hear me, just yell at me. I'll get the point. And before I hop into today's theme, I first wanted to share a personal story. The first time I was honored being asked to speak at a Martin Luther King Junior Day event was when I was in 4th grade. My school held 2 assemblies, one during the day for the students and one at night where families and communities could join. I was chosen to speak at both assemblies, and at both assemblies I managed to walk across stage, make it to the podium, look at the audience, and freeze, like completely freeze. I was so nervous and so terrified, and at neither of those assemblies was I able to get even one word out. I actually don't even think I got one out, like literally no words. And so many decades later, here I stand, still scared, but managing to speak, because in those decades since 4th grade, I've learned that fighting for justice requires a few things, or a couple things we'll say, and one of those is personal sacrifice. For me, that's forcing myself repeatedly to be uncomfortable and speak in public. And the determination to not let fear hold you back from doing what is right and for the service of the greater good. So, of course, there are many other elements involved with fighting for justice, but those are 2 that I found to be both essential and foundational. So let's get into it. It's truly an honor to be here with all of you in conversation, although we're not in conversation yet, I know the conversation will come, about the legacy of the great Dr. King. He was a revolutionary warrior who understood that although there are many approaches to justice, the fight requires and needs all of us. It's been over 50 years since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, and in fact, April marks 55 years since his murder. And I stand before you today having lived longer than Dr. King lived, and I'm just getting started on my justice, on my journey working for justice. So what he accomplished in his very short life was not only remarkable and astounding, but what is the most astonishing is that all these decades later, the truth, the wisdom, and brilliance of his words not only still ring true, but they're as needed today as they were all those decades ago. So every year for this event, the organizers choose one quote of Dr. King's for which, and that quote becomes the theme of the event. So this year's chosen quote was, or is, "True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice." So what does this quote mean? When we were sitting here and the slideshow was going, there was someone who was holding up a giant sign that actually asked that question, what does justice mean? And so when I was thinking about what to say, that's where I started. How do we procure justice? What does that look like? As a Black woman in America with other intersecting identities, I've spent years in my life reflecting and exploring the meaning and notions of tension and justice. Sometimes those reflections have led me to feel that in my lifetime, with the continued division and ever-growing tension, that true justice is an unattainable dream, something too radical and too magnificent to ever be fully realized. Other times, when I examine the past struggles and brutal history of this nation, it seems to me that the notion of justice is simply insufficient to repair the gross trauma and harms perpetrated against BIPOC people and other marginalized communities. So in order to speak with all of you tonight, I realized that I needed to clarify my understanding of justice. So as was said, I work as a civil rights attorney, which really means I spend a lot of my time playing with words. I seek out different interpretations, different meanings of words, and then I pick and choose, I put them together to try to communicate, convey what I deeply feel and know to be true in hopes of persuading other people to agree with me. So in seeking to clarify my understanding of justice, I went to the dictionary and I looked for the definitions of justice. And the irony of looking at an American English dictionary to figure out what justice meant was not lost on me. I know that my ancestors, thank you. I know that my ancestors' native tongue certainly was not American English, and I also understand that the American English language has many limitations in defining many expressions and knowings that exist in other languages and cultures. So what does justice and fairness mean in a country that was built upon the murder and subjugation of entire populations of people? A society premised on one group of people establishing dominion over other peoples. How do we accept definitions or concepts of justice from a language and culture that is rooted in injustice? It seemed to me that any definition of justice I found in an American English dictionary would be flawed from the outset, having originated in a culture of white supremacy. So I re-listened and I re-examined Dr. King's speeches, and I turned to other courageous anti-racism or anti-racist rights visionaries and wise community healers, the ones who I often turn to when I'm seeking guidance. And I was stunned by the resolve, the power, and certainty of their faith in justice. And one through line that I saw was that the justice that they spoke of was rooted and led by speaking truth. What also became exceedingly clear to me was that first and foremost, Dr. King was a truth teller. He died for illuminating uncomfortable truths, the kinds of truths that disrupt widely accepted systems and structures of power. He believed in the absolute necessity and power of truth-telling. And now I understand and believe that truth-seeking and truth-telling provides the clearest route to justice. And now I believe that justice today requires a reckoning with past denied truths, a determined engagement with current realities. It requires the reimagining, restructuring, and repairing of a society that was founded upon genocide, slavery, hate, and greed. Justice requires dedication to resourcing and healing communities that have endured unimaginable traumas and deep rupture. Justice requires that we unite to build new systems built on collective goals and create a society where everyone has access to honest histories and equitable futures, where we eliminate tension by finding new systems of accountability, where we disrupt false narratives that divide us and shared goals that unite us. So one of my favorite current civil rights visionaries is Prentice Hemphill, and this is what they have to say of the current fight for justice. The kind of change we are after is cellular, as well as institutional, is personal and intimate, is collective as well as cultural. We are making love synonymous with justice, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. So as we take up the effort to continue fighting for justice, there are other words by King that ring true. In his famous I Have a Dream speech, Dr. King cautioned civil rights seekers to not let the struggles embitter them. He stressed the importance of recognizing our shared and intertwined destinies. He warned of the dangers of complacency and silence. He called upon all who had joined in the fight for justice to stay the course and to never be satisfied as long as racism and inequity persist, as long as race remains a determiner as to whether or not one experiences horrific violence of police brutality, remains stuck in abject poverty, or is afforded basic dignity and access to civic engagement. So unfortunately, in confronting current realities, we see that many of the same oppressive tactics that were used in Dr. King's day are being waged against our communities today. We see renewed and unrelenting efforts at disenfranchising BIPOC communities from accessing the vote. We see that in Georgia. We see that in Montana. The last 2 legislative sessions, several bills were passed that were aimed at restricting the native vote. Luckily, there were 2 lawsuits that were fought and won to ensure that Native Americans in Montana simply are afforded, that simply retain their access to the vote. We've seen story after story of unrelenting violence and unspeakable police brutality against communities of color. And sadly, we know many of the stories of police killings and abuse are left untold. For instance, police brutality against Native American communities still goes relatively unnoticed, even though statistics show that Native Americans are the racial group most likely to be killed by law enforcement. Poverty rates for BIPOC individuals remain disproportionately and unacceptably high, with American Indians and Alaska Natives having the largest percentage of community members living below the federal poverty line, followed by Black Americans. And I could go on and on and on with these statistics, but I won't. And instead, I'll just share that many difficult but necessary truths remain to be told. And so tonight, we're all here, and I ask all of you to consider and interrogate what justice looks like and means to you and your community. To consider what justice, as a radically expansive concept defined in terms of equity, dignity, unity, and centered in truth-telling, looks like. I ask you to interrupt false narratives that inhibit our full ability to radically dream and envision new realities. You do not have to lead the fight towards justice, but I do ask that you join. And once you join, I ask that you commit to actively listening, honestly interrogating ways in which you've benefited from or have internalized systems of oppression. Interrogate your own biases and defensiveness. And when the time comes that you speak, no matter how scared you are, no matter how uncertain you are of the impact that you will make, you must be unwavering in your commitment to spreading truth in the quest for justice. So tonight, as we join together in celebrating Dr. King's remarkable legacy, I also ask that we commit ourselves to incorporating his enduring teachings into our community-driven justice work. Let's commit to truth-telling and justice-seeking. Let's share in community care, community resourcing, and community healing of the intergenerational trauma that was born of this nation's original sins. And that's all I got.
Thank you very much, Keela. One of the difficult parts about being an MC is having to follow up. Things like that. Speeches like that. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much for sharing that word with us. At this time, it's me. I'm right now. Thank you all for bearing with me here. Yeah, it is really my turn. Get the microphone. Yellow 2, there we go. So, I have a spoken word piece for you all. Kids may need earmuffs for the last part, the last stanza, I guess, so parents beware. But yeah, this is something that's from the heart. And it's something that really resonates with me, and I hope to share this everywhere I go, anytime that I'm able to, what we call crack the microphone. This is what I'm gonna say. Be my ally, teacher. Help me get through. I don't just want an A. I'm gonna earn that grade too. Be my ally, cop. Help me get through. And when you pull me over, don't pull guns on us too. Be my ally, Judge. Help me get through. It's the same as he did. Give me that minimum too. Be my ally, neighbor. Help me get through. I want to pull up to the park and not see carrot times 2. Be my ally in business. Help me get through. Am I just a checkbox D&I entitled to you? Be my ally socially. Help me get through. And call racist shit out when it's exposed to you. Thank you. All right, so thank you. At this time, I have the honor of bringing up to the stage Mr. Paul Renaud. Please come on up to the stage. He's going to talk to us a little bit and share with us a little bit about a local racial justice nonprofit group, the Montana Black Collective of Missoula. Welcome to the stage, Paul.
this because right here. So I'm a part of, as well as Jayton, and as well as Murray, and as well as Jason, as well as Dexter. We're part of the Missoula, Montana Black Collective Missoula. And so I'm just here to tell you a little bit about our organization. The Montana Black Collective is a grassroots organization which seeks to engage and empower persons of African ancestry living in the Missoula community. We envision a future where, through collaborative efforts, we will aid in creating a community where we are all afforded fair and equitable treatment in all aspects of life, irrespective of race, creed, or color. To this end, we pledge to continually work to investigate and seek to implement policies and practices which aid in making Montana a safer and more secure place to live, work, study, and raise our families. Our core values are education, cross-cultural understanding, collaboration and compassion, civic engagement, dismantling racism, diversity and inclusion efforts, equitable outcomes, social justice, economic justice, and transcendence. Our goals and mission then become working to manifest our vision by engaging and empowering persons of African ancestries, and also through dedicated efforts to stimulate intellectual, political, and social growth amongst our members. Our biggest commitment is to the destruction of racism of all forms throughout Montana and beyond. By partnering and collaborating with community organizations, progress can continue to be achieved through teamwork, cooperation, and civic engagement. I'd like to just tell you something real quick. If you're talking to one of the Montana Black Collective members, you might hear this term, move the chains, right? And most people probably move the chains, it's associated with football. So this is a metaphor. For offense to score, they have to move the chains, right? It's 10 yards every time they score. Every time they move the chains, right? They get another 10 yards to work their score. It dawned on me one day that this is what we do as a community to continue making progress towards Martin Luther King's dreams and all the things that he stood for. So, move the chains, right? I encourage us to move the chains. I want to end with a couple of quotes, and for some of you who might know the name, Marie Curie was a Polish physicist. She's a two-time Nobel Prize winner. You cannot hope to build a better world without improving the individuals. To that end, each of us must work for his own improvement, and at the same time share a general responsibility for all humanity. Our particular duty being to aid those who we think we can be most useful. And the second part of the quote is, she says, I was taught that the way of progress was never swift nor easy. Thank you.
So, everyone, I hope you're enjoying your time here, and this is well worth it. And to those of you who are online, thank you again for streaming in. And for those that couldn't make it, I hope you all tell them how wonderful it was. So next year, maybe we'll have to, expand again, Really thankful for you all for being here. Because this year marks the 31st year that Missoula has had a community celebration for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And the committee is grateful for the many local and area businesses that contribute to this annual event, as well as the volunteers that begin coordinating this event each year starting in September. A list of sponsors can be found in your program. I'll say this again. Everything else can be found in your program as well. Please review that beautiful, beautiful program that Yes, Lonnie, I'm gonna call you out. But our committee has created, led by Lonnie. So, in spite of our generous sponsors and volunteers, we do, however, require funds for a portion of our programming. This includes things like our honorariums from our inspiring speakers, and also the continued ability to donate towards local racial justice organizations within our community. There are events all month long. If you haven't noticed, there was an event already this past Saturday. There will be more events throughout the rest of this month, including renowned speakers, live music, film and discussions, and our very own art and essays submitted by the young people, our young people, all the way from kindergarten all the way up through 12th grade. There's a large number of people who come to this event. There is a large number of people that are attending this event. And this sends an important message to others in Montana and beyond, that our community believes in the importance of equity, justice, human rights, and other principles that comprise the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So, if you're able to, the MLK Day Planning Committee asks you to contribute to this event and forthcoming events. You can donate through the QR code that's found in your program. Or you can also visit our merch table. I was actually in charge of the merch table this year, and so this, is this the walkway? Can I do the walkway real quick for you? Please pick up a shirt. I don't want to be the only one wearing a shirt, so if you can wear or buy a shirt, donate to get a shirt. It includes a free sticker as well. And then we can all wear the shirt tonight at our dinner and social. So, yes, and of course, you can also donate right now as we pass the hat. Any contribution you make is appreciated, but please note that the most important gift already is you being here, being able to see you, your smile, being able to see eyes in our youth and families. This is beautiful, and you've already helped out quite a bit, so thank you, even if you're unable to donate in other ways. But this is what we do to help commemorate this important legacy. So thank you all for being here already. At this time, we'll do the pass the hat and cue the music. Thank you. So again, just want to say if you're writing a check, you can make that out to Empower Montana. They are our fiscal sponsor for this event, for this committee. So please make your donations, the checks, make those out to Empower Montana. It is a tax-deductible donation as well. So please note that Empower Montana is a nonprofit 501c3. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for donating and giving up your time tonight. My name is Heidi Wallace, and I'm with Empower Montana, and I have the honor of introducing our next keynote speaker. I've known this young person since they were in 7th grade, and I have to say it's one of the best parts of my job, following the lead and connecting to the youth in our community. Lizzie has wanted to make change since they were very young, because of what they have seen and experienced in regards to injustice. Lizzie became involved with Empower Montana in 7th grade. Lizzie's one of our most senior youth trainers, facilitating after-school programs, trainings for youth and educators, and also part of our Youth Advisory Council. One highlight about Lizzie is they founded one of our after-school programs called ABBY, the Association of BIPOC Youth. And please, stay in touch with us if you have a young person who's interested in joining that group. I think that for me, being able to follow the lead of this amazing young person is to be inspired, to be activated, and to be empowered to make change, whether that is just
for you individually, or for institutions, or the people you care about. So it's my honor to welcome Lizzie Mills-Well.
Growing up as a Black woman in Montana is an isolating experience. The constant struggle to fit in among white peers and the lack of support when it came to mistreatment left me searching for a community I could not find. When I look back, a specific time comes to mind. In 7th grade, a little Black girl with a high-pitched voice found herself with a new friend. The two grew close quickly. Her new friend is an interesting kid, sort of edgy, always pushing the boundaries between joke and threat. He's a white guy like most people in the school, and the girl appreciated his unique perspective, and when it came to his humor, always gave him the benefit of the doubt. However, as the year went on, things began to change. He began making more hateful comments under the guise of his humor. Whether it was sympathizing with Nazis or stating his family's hatred of Black people. He would talk about the little Black girl's hair, call her dirty, say she will never be taken seriously, and say racial slurs. And when the little Black girl finally decided to say he was in the wrong, she was met by a wall of opposition. Her peers sided with the boy and viewed her as aggressive, always making everything about race. I was completely isolated. Now, most of you here might be able to relate to at least one aspect of my identity, being a woman. All of us face mistreatment for something, but I would like you to take a moment to imagine this. You are the only woman in your school. You've been told all the ways you amount to nothing because of this one element of yourself. But there's no one to turn to, no one to relate to look up to support you. That is what it is like growing up as a Black girl. Through my work with Empower Montana, in schools, and through pure observation of the world, I've noticed our biggest battle in fighting oppression is divisiveness. When I started making connections with students with the shared experience of mistreatment, it was arduous. In today's society, we are all tied down by oppressive structures. Those with great wealth and privilege use their power to divide us amongst ourselves. This tactic that only strengthens white supremacy is a barrier to all progress. We can observe this in the division between African Americans and Asian Americans through the model minority stereotype. This stereotype displays Asian Americans as the best minority, or even within the Black community, we see ourselves divided. Light skin versus dark skin, African American versus Caribbean, and so on. But in the end, the root of all of this division holding us back is white supremacy, and this idea that your proximity to whiteness and Eurocentricity is the key to greatness. Another barrier fueling division comes with classism. In this country, all oppression can be tied to our capitalist system and the classism embedded in our society. Through the oppression of Black, Indigenous, and people of color, these communities face economic disadvantages. And when we add the extra layers and complexity of white supremacy, there forms a great deal of resentment between white Americans and Americans of color. The blame for poverty is often placed on people of color already disadvantaged systematically. Examples are the notion that immigrants are taking job opportunities away, when we observe the ways in which the Black community is criminalized. This idea that whiteness is inherently better is so deeply instilled in our society, our thought processes, and our cultures. We are in constant competition with one another to appeal to the standards set by our oppressive systems. We must recognize the fact that we are all on the same team. This team is progress through equity, and the truth that when we eliminate oppression, it will help all. It is a fight to which Dr. King, Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, and countless others devoted their lives. Angela Davis, American political activist and author, wrote, "I feel that if we don't take seriously the ways in which racism is embedded in the structures of institutions, if we assume that there must be an identifiable racist who is the perpetrator, then we won't ever succeed in eradicating racism." That is to say that every single one of us needs to put a conscious effort to bring anti-racism and anti-oppression of all kinds to the table. The issue is not purely individual, so we all need to make this effort to change on all levels, individual, in workplaces, and in policy. We know our power is in our ability to work together. Divisiveness must be eliminated to make steps towards equality, justice, and finally, peace.
bring to the stage a Missoula native, Renault has been writing and performing hip-hop music since 2010. Taking inspiration from artists such as J. Cole, Royce da 5'9", King Los, and many more, he prides himself on making songs packed with clever wordplay, diverse flows, and catchy hooks. The stage is his favorite place to be, so look forward to high energy and a whole lot of rapping. Please welcome to the stage, Renault.
How's everybody doing? I really set the bar apparently, huh? So I'm gonna be really honest, I've been super nervous about this, and I'm actually gonna read my lyrics, which is not something I ever plan to do at a performance. But if everybody wants to stand up, we can have a little fun. If you are able, feel free to clap along or anything.
What a time to be alive, I hope we see that the same. It's about the bigger picture, not just what's in our frame. See the world move around us, not just right in your lane. Instead of going through the motions, gotta revamp the game. This is all of us, the big and small of us, the here and now, the dead and gone of us, the weak and strong of us, the teach and taught of us. This everybody, gotta be for everybody. If we leave out anybody, it just creates more harm for us. I think progress comes in waves and you can bet that. And we can see how far we come if we went back. Real change comes from moving with direct acts. But to try to see the future ain't the best path. Listen right, we only have control over the here and the now. So what's a better time to be a hero than now? It's time to raise a voice and separate from the crowd. So how we gon' get that loud? Still the Wild Wild West. 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 See now Martin had a dream, I hope that we can see it through. But we need to believe that it's bigger than me and you. Too often we distracted by the tees and by the shoes. We need some peace, we need a truce, we need a freedom for our youth. We need the education, occupation, growth, and that's in general. Elevated thinking from the populace in general. Start to raise the bar for the future that we're trying to reach. And start to draw the line for any single. We shouldn't settle for it, we come this far along. Still have problems with the cops, still promoting these songs that are only shooting and ops. How the path to the top, still follow Juice cause it's pop. So often we forgot he was a youth that got shot. We need reflection to choose action better suited to our direction. Need to vote in our election, need to focus on collectives. Have the ones that come before us only spoken on the deck. We need it in succession. Still the Wild Wild West. Still the Wild Wild West. Still the Wild Wild West. Still the Wild Wild West.
All right, thank you. I got one more. Just hit space bar. All right, so this one doesn't have a hook, but there are pieces of Dr. King's speech woven in throughout.
Happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
Right, let me paint the scene. How you plan to take a dream? Right now there's a vacancy and we can't afford to wait patiently. We hold these truths, what they've always said. Equality of all these men, but less than equal it's always been. How they expect us to take these beds and just sleep. The wounds more than paper deep. Didn't tell you the rules, but they played to keep. Loopholes in the system, we missed them. Don't want apologies cause talk is cheap. Now we're unruly. The road is long and grueling. I hope that you realize that the problems raised are only noted duly. Basically just ignored, table quickly, then floored. Ostracized and we're ostracized for thinking they can do more. What a laborious chore. A little bit of accountability can go a real long way. Reparation doesn't strictly mean that money needs to be paid. How about more equal representation in the places that it counts? If you're qualified, then you're qualified, and tone will get you left out. All colors, creeds, and any other way they make to separate people are all tossed aside so we can live our lives and strive to make them all equal.
I have a dream that one day.
All right, the second verse, I'm going to ask for a hand in the air, and everybody can put their hand up, okay?
The meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day
Let me tell you what I need. Every single hand in the air right now, even if you don't look just like me. Right now, let me tell you this right now, ain't about black or white, this is all our right to make a choice and we can all unite and be a solid front, all of us. Most of all, it has to start with trust. How do we make any real progress as the push is led by only one? We need community for a strong base. The wrong pace, see the hill that's laid out before you, take a single step to begin. Keep in mind we ain't at the bottom, we're already halfway in. For those who set out before us, and more still yet to join, there's always space, so let's accommodate and help each other keep going.
Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm Renaud. I perform around town here sometimes. Thank you guys for having me so much. Thank you to all the speakers. Thanks for everybody coming out tonight.
Thank you, Renaud. Appreciate that. I hope you all enjoyed getting up on your feet, knowing that you were going to, be involved in this. We talk about action, right? We can't just do the lip service. We have to have some action. So I hope you enjoyed having some action. An example of it right there. And now, one of my favorite parts of the program is the Youth Art and Essay Contest. So I would love to bring her to the stage. She didn't want me to say her name, but I'm going to shout her out. Ivy, come on up to the stage. As soon as the Youth Art and Essay Contest.
I'm the Director of Youth Programs at Empower Montana, and with me tonight I have two of our incredible members of our Youth Advisory Council, and we are going to be presenting this year's awards to the Lynn Schwakey Martin Luther King Jr. Art and Essay Contest. So this year to showcase their creativity and thoughts in response to the quote, we asked our youth to come up with their best pieces. So it was very hard for us, but we think we did our best. So yeah, if you hadn't noticed already, the art essays of the winners was published in yesterday's copy of the Missoula. So take it. Oh, maybe not. So come over here.
Should I pop over? Oh, there we go. Hello. It's so good to see all of you. I am Mars Jager. I go to Big Sky High School. I'm a sophomore there. I'm on the Youth Advisory Council at Empower Montana. This year we had the opportunity to highlight Dr. King's quote, "True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice." It was inspiring to see submissions from around the state contribute to the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. Although our Youth Advisory Council could only pick a limited number of awards, we want to honor and recognize all who entered this contest. The Youth Advisory Council enjoys witnessing the talent and vision of other young people come to life. Thank you.
and I go to Hellgate High School. We will be announcing the winners for the art contest first. Names will be announced in order of third place, second place, and finally first place winners. We ask the winners to come up to the stage to be recognized. Then, directly in front of me, a team will work with you to get your awards. When you receive your award, please line up and stay on stage until all the winners are announced. All the winning artwork will be projected as we announce our winners.
So our third place art winners are from the 3rd through 5th grade category, Kelly Fry. From the 2nd through 8th grade category, Alexandria Miller.
And from the 9th through 12th grade category, Brady Reed. He's not here with us today.
Our second place art winners are from the 3rd. Technology. Okay. From the 3rd through 5th grade category, the second place winners are Mia Kissling, and from the 6th and 8th grade category, Sophie Day Deer.
Our second place art winners from the 9th through 12th category is Madeline Ross, bronze medalist, who cannot join us today.
And now for our first place art winners this year, from K through 2nd grade, we have Imogen Graham, and 3rd through 5th grade, we have Willow Laverdier.
In the 6th through 8th grade category, we have Zed Siegel. In the 9th through 12th grade, first place winner is CJ Hayhurst.
Now we will welcome to the stage 3rd and 2nd place winners of the essay contest. Then we will invite our first place winners to join us at the microphone to read their winning piece.
Sorry, can we give our
Okay, now we will welcome to the stage our 3rd and 2nd place winners of the essay contest.
All right. Our third place winners for the 3rd through 5th grade category is Everett Frank. 6th through 8th grade category is Kiara Kajawa.
And our 3rd place winner from 9th through 12th grade category is Destiny Ask.
Now let us welcome our second place winners for the 3rd through 5th grade category,
and the 9th through 12th grade category, Addison McClellan, who is unable to be here with us tonight, but asked that we donate her award to the Missoula Food Bank. And now we welcome our first place winners. Reading their winning essay, we will welcome K through 2nd grade winner, Imogen Graham.
Everyone does not have justice if they are not treated the way they deserve. Calm down, stop fighting and arguing, and think about how you can help each other. It takes hard work and courage to make a peaceful world for all of us. Our words do not mean anything if we do not do what we say.
Next, our 3rd through 5th grade winner, William Kearns. William is currently in Maui tonight, so I will be reading his essay. It's titled True Peace. Everyone is equal. Everyone should have the chance to be equal and should live in true peace and justice no matter who you are. No matter who you are, what you look like, or what you believe in, you are special. Everyone is special. All should be loved and not judged for who they are. People should be judged not for their mistakes, but for what they did after them. Everyone is different, but also the same. Everyone is wonderful and deserves to be loved, deserves to be special, deserves to be equal. That is how we create a better world for everyone. If everyone is treated equally, treated kindly, lovingly, and thoughtfully, then and only then can we have a wonderful world where everyone can live in true peace and justice as equals.
And the 6th through 8th grade winner is Nina Rode. We have a video of her reading her piece up here.
Essay that I wrote for the competition. Dear America, what does true peace mean to you? Does it mean impressing people because of the godly characteristic over which they have no power? No. Does it mean imprisoning people who come to you for help? No. Does it mean fighting over whether it was right to harm someone because of race, sex, ethnicity, or religion? No! A person is a person, regardless of what they look like, who they love, or what they believe. America will have true peace when men and women are treated the same. America will have true peace when all races and ethnicities are treated the same. America will have true peace when all sexualities and gender identities are treated the same. So I ask you, America, when will you have true peace? Sincerely, someone who hopes for a better world.
And finally, our 9th through 12th grade winner, Kaylee Moe.
Simply building a dam cannot stop water from existing. Simply having no violence cannot bring peace. For there is still water building up on the other side. For there is still conflict brewing behind the scenes. There needs to be balance, understanding, resolution. Dams do not eliminate water. An absence of violence does not eliminate conflict. There needs to be a drain. There needs to be justice. Somewhere the water can go. Somewhere the conflict can resolve. To dispel of water, you need a drain, not a dam. To bring peace, you need justice, not just an elimination of violence.
Ace Hardware, Blackfoot Communications, Montana Black Collective Missoula, Empower Montana, Walla Walla University, All Smiles DJ Services, the Roxy, the Missoulian, the University of Montana, Emmaus Campus Ministry, First Security Bank, MCAT, Bill Schwank, University Congregational Church, John Lund and Karen Fondas, Nathan and Mara Fund, Becky Bowditch and Hilton Garden Inn, Major Raleigh, Art and Image Design, Judge John Larson, First Pre-Historian Church, David Roberts, Apex Engineering, St. Anthony's Parish, Open Source, or Green Source, Open Way, St. Anthony's Catholic Church. Thank you so much for making tonight possible.
We will now enjoy a musical performance from Miss Grace Musiwa Mungwa featuring Amen. Grace is a resettled refugee from the Democratic Republic of Congo and came to the U.S. in 2018. Married to Paul Mungwa, the Refugee Congress delegate from Montana, and mother of 3 beautiful daughters. Together with her family, they hoped that one day they would rewrite the story of their lives and that the suffering they endured would be a path that would lead to future success. Miss Grace has loved to sing from a young age. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. And I don't know your daughter's name. Amen. Awesome. That's right. Hallelujah. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Grace, for blessing us. And then we would like to now wrap up tonight's evening. On behalf of all the event organizers, I want to express gratitude and thank you for all of the community members who have attended this event here today, and both in person and virtually. It takes all of us to create real change here in the world and all around us. And I feel as of today, with this event, these moments, this is what's helping lead to that change. I hope that you all please note that there are more events throughout the rest of the month right here in Missoula, Montana. Please note on your calendar, on the 24th, there's a film and discussion. We'll actually be watching Judas and the Black Messiah. We actually have the co-screenwriter flying into Missoula to join us on our panel. Regine will be helping lead that discussion following the film. There's also a lecture, part of the UM Presidential Lecture Series on the 26th at the University of Montana. I also want to remind everyone about this year's quote by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. Of course, I have to give a shout out to Murray and the whole chef crew, because immediately after this, we'll be heading over to the next adjacent building for some food. Raise your hand if you're hungry. I'm raising both of mine. Yes. So please give thanks. If you can donate there as well, you can do that. But shout out to Murray and also Abe and Dominic and so many others who have prepared this meal and this space with love and care. So with that said, everyone, thank you so much for your time and attention.
And don't forget, let's put our hands together and recognize.
Get out of here.
Did everyone have a good time? That's what it's all about. I just want to reiterate one thing. For 32 years, Missoula, Montana has been sponsoring the MLK event. The planning committee has been sponsoring this event here in Missoula, Montana for 32 years. And we are thankful, and I do want to take a special moment to recognize Heidi Wallace again, because through her leadership and being able to embrace this group, is also able to facilitate year after year this event that takes place. And so I want Heidi, I'm not sure if you're still here. There she is, Heidi. Good. But everybody, thank you for all your efforts and everything you continue to do through Empower Montana. We are just thankful for that. And again, my name is Dexter Royce. I'm pastor of the local MCRN Missoula Community Regional Ministry. And I wanted to take a moment to pause and also recognize each one of you that came tonight and participated in the event. We thank you and we encourage you to share it with others, and we'll see you next year at the MLK Junior Celebration. Come on.
Okay, so everyone, please, if you can stay and enjoy, this is a part where we get to break bread together. This was very much a program here, but if you'd like to engage in some authentic conversations, please see us over there next door. Thank you all for your time. Much love, and we'll see you at dinner next door.